Hi guys, so this is me and Chris Kahuria today, and today I'm shooting using my phone because the camera person was not available and I am so technologically challenged, so I know how the shot looks. Sasa,
poa sana.
how have you been?
Mimi niko poa kabisa.
Hebu introduce kwa wale watu wakujui.
My name is Chris Kahuria and Muthoni is my friend. I'm a consultant in entrepreneurship and financial management. And I'm also an author and very passionate on matters to do with purpose and helping people discover who they are and optimize themselves. Yeah, that's why I'm Muthoni.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so I received an email. Chris talks about a lot of things, especially personal development as well.
Yes, yes.
About how to discover yourself, self-awareness, and those things. So I got an email from a lady who says she struggles with self-esteem. Kujielewa, kujiamini. Self-esteem is really important.
Yes, yes.
So I want us to talk about self-esteem. Nataka utuongeleshe about it. To start us off, I would like you to tell us how someone with low self-esteem behaves. How can you know you have low self-esteem so that we can get to how to have self-esteem, how to raise your self-esteem?
Thank you, Muthoni. First of all, to say that if we were to ask ourselves what is self-esteem, because before you start talking about low self-esteem, you have to know what is self-esteem. And basically, self-esteem is the ability to be confident about who you are, your abilities, your potential, and what you have. That is what we say is self-esteem. So it is the ability to regard yourself the right way. And therefore, some people have high self-esteem, that is, they regard themselves highly, they are confident about who they are, they are confident about their abilities, they believe they are able to do the things that they have set out to do. Then there are those people who have low self-esteem. That is, they have a low opinion of themselves, they have a low opinions of their abilities, they have a low opinions of the opportunities they have in this life. They feel bad about themselves, who they are, and they live their lives wishing they were something else, someone else. And basically in life, they are not happy with who they are, with their circumstances, with everything that defines them. They are not happy with it. Okay. Yes.
So how do you know you don't have self-esteem? How do you know you have low? Are there people without, like, it is high and low?
Yes, there is high and low.
Can we say no self-esteem?
No.
Low.
It is either high or low. Okay. There is nothing like neutral or no.
Like none.
Yes. In fact, if you don't have high, you can only have low. There is no middle ground that you can say, mimi siko huko high na siko huko low, niko hapa katikati.
Niko mahali.
Yeah, niko mahali.
So, okay.
Yes, it's either there, up there,
or down here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how do you know you have low self-esteem?
You know you have low self-esteem. Number one, if there are things you don't like about yourselves, because every person is unique, and God created us, and we are told even in the Bible that we are fearfully and wonderfully made. And if we were to look at ourselves from that kind of a definition, it means I need to be proud of who I am, regardless of things that may not look like what other people have. I need to be proud of who I am.
Yes.
I need to be proud of who I have, what I have. And of sometimes what you have is not necessarily what you want in this life, but at least you know, I am here, but I know I will work and get there. So if you basically find yourself so unhappy with yourself, so unhappy with every circumstance you find yourself in, maybe even unhappy with where you are born, even in your family, you are unhappy about what you scored in school, and anytime you tend to come to yourself, to think about yourself, whether it is how you look, you are some people are even unhappy with how they look, their shape. Some people feel I am too dark like me, I should have been light skinned.
Yes.
Some other people feel I should have been tall. Other people feel I should have been born in a rich family. So those aspects of tending to feel something we call self-pity. And self-pity is a very bad condition, that you have nothing good you feel about yourself.
Then you just don't like yourself.
Yes, every day you wake up and feel discouraged. I'm discouraged, and you want to curse everything. When you think about what you do, the work you do, you are discouraged. when you think about even how you talk, you are discouraged. Somehow you feel that like this life has better people than you, and there is nothing you can do about it.
Okay.
So it is a state of self-pity.
Self-pity.
A state of a state of denial. Sometimes it is also about denial.
So what are you denying? Your existence.
You are denying who you are.
Who you are.
Because you feel you should be somebody else.
Okay.
So instead of asking yourself, who should I be and how can I be that person, you tend now to start feeling sorry about self-pity. You start feeling bad about yourself. You don't even want somebody to say something good about you. Muthoni, I'm sure you have met people who you cannot even tell you are smart.
Yeah, they don't know how to take a compliment.
Yes, they can't take a compliment.
Yes.
They will tell you that kunichocha shu, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. You tell somebody they are beautiful, they can even insult you. You tell someone that they have chances in this life, they feel you are just motivating them. Recently I had a case of where I was trying to encourage a lady because I had seen some attributes in her that she could develop. And when I tried to point them out, you know what she told me? I hate motivational speakers.
Okay, walimfanyia nini? What do they?
I don't know, because in fact she rated me as a motivational speaker. Don't motivate me. Don't motivate me. I know who I am. Don't try to motivate me. Okay. So that person is in that state of self-pity.
What did you tell her? You started your rice business with one rice.
I don't know. I never say something. By the way, I write so much about the things that motivational speakers have done. They have gone overboard. So I of course I did not feel bad about myself, but I did not like the fact that somebody could actually call me a motivational speaker, because I believe I'm not one. I help people. I try to build people, but I don't fit into the category of
motivational speakers. Wameharibu jina.
Wameharibu jina sana kwa sababu wametuambia vitu zenye hata wao hawezi fanya, but wanataka kutuonyesha vile tunaweza fanya things that are not even realistic. So I was basically called a motivational speaker.
Yeah, like I started my poultry business with one feather.
Yes, with one feather. Another person said I started my hotel with 1 kilogram of rice and half kg of beans, and now I have a 5-star hotel. Things like those. Huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it's interesting. I don't want to delve into that.
Yes.
So people don't like who they are, and you know something, Muthoni. Even if
you don't like yourself,
even if the whole world were to believe in you, and you don't believe in yourself, there is nowhere you can go. Our life is structured in such a way that life begins to move when you start believing in yourself. Because that's the time you can overcome obstacles. That's the time you can even tell off. Because sometimes people discourage us, and it is a real journey of life that people try to discourage us. So unless you have something, that inner muscle that tells you, that keeps telling you that I am the right person, you will always be in that state of low self-esteem. Yes. Okay.
So why would someone feel bad about themselves like that? Why would you not like yourself? Why would you call yourself for pity parties every time, Chris? Why do we have low self-esteem?
They are both internal and external factors. And Muthoni, I know you are very passionate about emotional intelligence. There is something in emotional intelligence we call intrapersonal intelligence.
Yeah.
Intrapersonal intelligence simply means being aware of who you are and being able to control your own emotions before you even start dealing with other people. Are you able to be in control of yourself? First of all, know who you are. Because if you are not aware of yourself, you'll get into that state. Because there are people who are not aware of who they are. Either because they have grown up in environments where people did not help them to discover themselves, or they have also not taken time to discover who they are. So sometimes low self-esteem can be a direct result of not knowing who we are. Therefore, we feel we are nobodies, yet maybe there is a lot of potential in us. So if
also we despise ourselves, because we don't know our potential.
If we don't know our potential. Number two, sometimes we can have low self-esteem because of how we are socialized, the environment in which we grew. And Muthoni, we have said in another video here that especially in Africa, because it's one place where we struggle so much with esteem, there is nothing wrong about our biological or natural environment. We were born just like other people in the rest of the world.
And why do we feel like we want to go and live in the US? We feel like we should not have been born here.
Because
we
of,
don't,
yes.
like, it's like we don't have opportunities.
Yes, the problem is in our social environment, how we were raised. Perhaps you were raised by people who did not believe there were anyone. You were raised by parents who complained their entire life. You were raised in an abusive environment, and therefore you tended to hate yourself or to hate the people around you. And you know, sometimes hate to other people ends up becoming hate to ourselves. Because at the end of the day, it always hits back at us.
So when you hate other people, you end up hating yourself.
You end up hating yourselves. And that's why we are always encouraged to be in control of our emotions and to love people, even if they are not the kind of people we like, to just love them and let them be. So some people have been abused in their past. Some people have grown in very harsh environments. Somebody made fun the other day and said, some of us say we have come from humble backgrounds because we had nothing. But he said, for me, it was not a humble background. It was brutal. There is nothing humble about sleeping hungry. That is a brutal background.
Yeah.
So imagine you have been raised in that kind of a background where you are abused, you are told off. There is something I read somewhere, Muthoni, I don't know whether it was a real research, but somebody said that by the time you are 17, you have had the statement, no, you can't, 150,000 times. And the statement, yes, you can, 5,000 times.
Okay, why were they telling us no so many times compared to the yes?
That is basically the word. So
you've had no so much.
Yes, so for every yes you can, there are 30 no you can't. So it becomes a reflex that we are conditioned to believe that we can't, because that is what we have always had all along in our lives. And that is an average person. There's another person maybe who has never had somebody telling them that you are awesome, you are able, you can do this. So they have always been insulted and abused to an extent that the things that have been said to them by others ended up being the things they believe about themselves.
For example, by our parents.
Yes, by our parents, siblings. And you know, some people technically did not grow up in a stable home, in something you can call a home. Some people did not even have parents that were raised by relatives and were abused.
And guardians,
And because of those circumstances, we have ended up not even knowing who we are and being abused and feeling so much pity about ourselves. So at the end of the day, if we are not able to take control of that, it ends up making us feel that we are nobodies in this life. And number three, the other thing that causes people to have low self-esteem is failure. Because most people have had such a high self-esteem, they never believe they could fail in this life. So when you fail, unasikia uko pale chini, umeshuka chini,
rock bottom.
And failure has made people who had a lot of potential just become nobodies. And I talk so much about how to overcome failure, because failure is part of success.
But we don't like to fail, of course.
Nobody wants to fail.
Yeah.
But the fact is that if you don't want to fail, you also don't want to succeed. Because I don't think there is somebody in this life who has always had success without failure. So if you have failed in something that you really believed you could never fail, that can cause you to have low self-esteem. And unfortunately, some people have pulled out of things they could do very well just because they tried it once and it didn't work. And now they don't even want to be told you can do it again. So again, that is another reason that can cause someone to have low self-esteem. And I don't know, in some other instances, it's just because we are too much obsessed with ourselves. You know, sometimes you can be so much absorbed into yourself.
How?
There is something that is known as self-obsession.
Like you're obsessed with yourself?
You are obsessed with yourselves. And you know, when you are obsessed with yourselves, there can be a tendency to get so much into your negatives and not your positives.
Oh, but then I'm thinking, if I'm obsessed with myself,
yes,
that means I really like myself. Like I'm into me.
Sometimes obsession is not just positive, it can be negative.
Oh, okay.
And it means there is an aspect of you that you are so much attached to. It may be the negative part of you, as opposed to being attached to the positive part of you. And sometimes, again, being too much attached with your positives can also lead to that aspect of low self-esteem if you fail.
Okay.
So there has to be a balance in life. We have to have a room for failure, a room for improvement. Always believing I'm not the best person, I can improve. And when I'm on that path of improvement, I am better off than that person who has literally stuck there thinking that they are the best.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So now I've discovered, or someone has discovered, they have low self-esteem.
Yes.
Maybe because of their upbringing, because they're self-obsessed, because they failed at something. How do you raise your self-esteem? How to get to high self-esteem? The process.
I'm going to repeat something else, Muthoni, we have discussed with you, known as the power of solitude. Getting time, some quality time with yourselves, and trying to analyze yourself. Because many of us will be surprised when we create time for ourselves to learn that we have so much within us that we can exploit to become better. And I have said one aspect, one thing that can cause low self-esteem is lack of failure to know ourselves. If you don't know yourself, if you have not gone through that process I'm calling intrapersonal intelligence, trying to find out who you really are. Because maybe your failures are attributed to the fact that you are trying things that are not who you truly are.
Yes.
And when I start talking about who you truly are, that's something I'm very passionate about. Personally, I have tried things in this life and failed. But then along the way, I've realized that what I tried with so much energy did not resonate with the person I am. So, and along the way, I've discovered things that I can do with a lot of ease. And when I'm doing them, I enjoy. Because when you create that sense of enjoying the things you do, your esteem tends to go up. And that one can only happen when you discover who you are. Number 2, self-improvement. Because sometimes our state can be low because we have not tried to scale higher heights. Sometimes you could be unemployed, and maybe that is what is causing you to have low self-esteem, because maybe there are qualifications you don't have. So you need to ask yourself, if this is a line I want to pursue, if this is the kind of a job I want, how can I improve on myself to get to become that person that people are looking for? Self-improvement, improving your skills, improving even your personal attributes, working on your emotional intelligence, working on it, because if you're not able to strike that life balance and to build your positive attributes to an extent that they can suppress your negative attributes, because we have strengths and weaknesses. And sometimes why we feel so low is because our weaknesses have dominated us. Because maybe we have ignored our strength to an extent that the weaknesses have taken more space in our lives. But if we start working on ourselves to improve our strengths, to optimize what we can do best, then we suppress our weaknesses. And each of us will only have their weaknesses. Personally, I know my weaknesses. And one way I deal with my weaknesses is to try to give so much space to my strength that my weaknesses are suppressed.
So you give more focus.
Yeah, give more
what
focus.
You can do best.
Give more focus to your strength. And focus, we simply say that focus is, in full, it means focusing, following one course till success. Identify something that you're good at, something that is your strength, something that you can be proud of, and building it to a level that it shines everything else in your life. When you get to that level, you will start feeling good about yourself. And another important thing about self-esteem is who we associate with.
Oh, like your circle.
Yes, your circle.
The people around you.
Yes, somebody say two things. Two important statements. Number 1, that you are the average of the 5 people you spend most of your life with. So if the kind of associations you are in are low quality, that is, you have the wrong people in your associations, they will always bring you down. And when they bring you down, you will get to a level where you start feeling bad about yourself. And one way of getting out of that is to try to audit the people you associate with, the people in your inner circle, the people you spend a lot of your time with. And sometimes make deliberate steps to get some people, not making them enemies necessarily, but reducing the time, the kind of time you spend with them. And the other statement is that we are always being brainwashed by our surroundings. You can stay in an environment where a certain message is being spread, and I think I stated when I was starting, to an extent that becomes what you believe in.
Yeah.
Sometimes the things we believe in are because we stayed in an environment where people believe in such things and they keep talking about them until we find ourselves believing in them. But if you change your environment and start associating with the right people, and this is something very important for every person who wants to boost their self-esteem. Self-esteem also goes along with the quality of people in your life. In this world, we are told that your network is your net worth.
Your network is your net worth.
It is your net worth. Huh?
Yes.
The people with whom you associate. And sometimes we get very frustrated in life. There is nothing as frustrating as finding yourself in a situation where you ask yourself, who are my friends? Either because you are in a situation where you needed people to step in and nobody stepped in. And then you realize all around you, you have jokers. There's a verse in the Bible says that a man of many companions will come to ruin. But there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother. So many of us, when we audit our association, the people around us, we are shocked to realize that what we have is just companions, not friends. People who are of no value in our lives.
Yes.
And they end up making us feel so bad about ourselves because they don't help us to get better. In fact, instead of making us better, they make us worse. And when you change those associations, things start to get better. And very important is always get help when you feel you are in a state of low self-esteem. Get help. Yes. Go and talk to somebody who can help you. Because sometimes words that people talk to us mean a lot to our lives. It could be that you have been around people who always talk bad things into your life. Try to get somebody who can talk good things to your life. Somebody who can assess you for who you are and try to project the better part of you. Because low self-esteem, as I have said, is just because the negative part of us is being projected more than the positive part of our lives. Yes.
Okay. So someone also said, if you can, they said, hey, why am I forgetting? You cannot change the people in your life, but you can change the people in your life.
You cannot
change the people in your life, but you can change the people in your life.
I thought that's the same thing.
Yeah, I know. I cannot change you, but I can get someone else.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I know. Yes,
I didn't think I have that slow in capturing it.
Yeah.
So you cannot change the people in your life.
I cannot make you like me.
Yes.
But I can replace you with a better friend.
Exactly.
So you cannot change the people in your life, but you can change the people in your life.
Yes.
And I don't know where people get these things, these rhyming things.
Yes.
So as we wind up, you are so huge on solitude, spending time on yourself, and that's the first thing you've said.
Yes.
So I think that's the most important thing we need to focus on, right?
Very important. Solitude, it generates power. There's a way it generates power within you. Solitude helps you to connect to, and I told you the other time, it helps you to connect with the real power in the universe. And one of those powers is the power of God, which helps you to be able to start hearing the right things. Because when the voice of God starts to get through you, you'll start hearing.
I was told you can only hear the voice of God when you're silent, when you're quiet, when you're calm.
Yes, God does not speak to us when we are in the noise and the haste, when we are running up and down.
When we are on social media.
Yes, when you're on social media and when we are following this, we have to retreat to a place where we are honoring ourselves and the power of God around us. And then the things that are true about us will begin to manifest. And Muthoni, I have told you, I think I told you that I have personally learned this is a secret. And I discovered myself when I made a decision to create that solitude.
Time with yourself.
Time with myself, listening to something that is flowing in me, and letting God speak through me. In one of my books, I have said, how do ideas come? Ideas come when you pause and allow the power of God to flow. And then along the process, God begins to think through your mind. And then ideas begin to flow.
Yeah.
So solitude is a very important thing. And then when you start hearing positive things about yourself, then you start saying them. Because the other thing that is frustrating our esteem is the things we say about ourselves. Because somebody said, you shall have what you say. You shall always have what you say. If you say good things about yourself, you will have good things. If you say bad things about yourself, you have bad things. And some of these good things about yourself are things that you have discovered when you create a time with yourselves. And by the way, Muthoni, let me say it here. If you keep saying bad things about yourself and harboring fears, the things you fear will always happen.
It'll always happen.
The things you fear will always happen. That is why we have to control.
You're scaring us.
Yeah, because fear is the other thing that has affected our self-esteem. If you keep saying bad things about yourself, there is
I'm a failure. I'm not good at anything.
Yes.
I'm always broke.
Yes, there is a verse in the Bible that says somebody was told, because he never delighted in prosperity, it shall always be far away from him. The things you say about yourself are the things that happen. And I always say that words you have never said have no effect. Doesn't matter how many people have said them. If people keep saying that you are a failure, you will never be a failure until you say it with your mouth.
Okay.
Doesn't matter whether the whole world has called you a failure. And people who have succeeded in this life have been called names, all manner of names by people.
Yes.
But by the fact that they never said that about themselves. So never say things about yourself that you don't want to happen, because once you have said something with your own mouth, before you leave this world, you shall see it come to pass.
Yes.
But now once you have created some time with yourself, and you let power, because there is always potential that is hidden in us, waiting for us to unravel and start to exploit it. That is when you start discovering things about yourself, and I have said when you start discovering good things about yourself, you now get on a process of self-improvement, because out here, you will succeed when you are a better person, when you are trying to bring yourself to a better standard than maybe the people around you. And that process of self-improvement, because we have known who we are, is something that many people don't get into. And me, I would discourage somebody to ever spend any time feeling bad about yourself. Why should you feel bad about yourself?
Yeah, look at what is working in your life.
Yes. Why should you frustrate yourself and frustrate your own potential because of harboring negative things about yourself? Which, and I've said, most of these things don't exist. But when we start harboring them in our minds and saying them, we bring them into existence.
Yes. You know, also someone else said that point you said about you not saying bad things about yourself.
Yes.
And people sometimes can say all sorts of things so long as you don't say them yourself.
Yes.
Someone also said you are not who people say you should be.
Yes.
You are not who people say you are. You are who you say you are.
Yes.
You are who you think you are.
Who you think you are and who you say you are.
Yes.
And you know, philosophers have said that.
Yeah.
And also the Bible have said that as a man thinketh, so he is. These things sound very ordinary when we are saying them, but this is how life is. Who you think you are and who you say you are. So discovering yourself is very important. And one of the greatest philosophers by the name Socrates has made a statement that is true to date. And he said, the secret of success in this life, and the biggest secret is man, know thyself. Know who you are. Discover
the secret of success.
Yes, the unique things about you.
Yes.
And once you discover who you are on the path of becoming great. And because we rarely spend time with ourselves to really know who we are, we live this life ignorantly because we unhappy because we are trying things that don't work and they may never work.
Yes.
And this life is very short. We have discussed with Muthoni in the past, and we said even most people who are employed are doing jobs they don't like. They are not happy. They are doing it to earn a living, but they are not happy because first the things they do are not who they are. But along the way, that is what the system has made them to be. So if you become a victim of systemic manipulation, that always you become what others have made you to be, as opposed to becoming the person that you are because you've discovered yourself and you have walked a path of making yourself better, somewhere along the way, you are likely to get into that state of low self-esteem.
So now when you raise your self-esteem, now you have good self-esteem, what happens in your life?
What happens in your life is, number one, you are happy. Internal happiness is one of the greatest strengths you have. And even in this life, we are not happy because we have many things. We are not happy because we are rich. Even very rich people are very unhappy. We are not happy because people praise us or people believe in us. We are happy because we are happy within ourselves. And someone who has internal happiness cannot be stopped. Somebody who has put on the right attitude will not be stopped by even circumstances. But if we have not built those inner qualities, those inner strengths, then along the way we will be tossed by circumstances and by people. And we will get to a point where we start feeling bad about ourselves. And personally, there's a decision I have made in this life that I will pursue the thing I believe are who I am, regardless of how long it takes for me to have the success I need. But I am happy every day because I feel the things I am doing resonate with the person I am. I'm not struggling in this life, trying to be... And self-denial is something that is very toxic. So many people are struggling. And we have seen Muthoni even on social media. People are even faking things because you don't feel good about yourself, but you want to create the wrong impression to others. You want people to think you are up there when you are down here. So instead of working on yourself gradually to be the person you desire to be, you start faking and making it look like you are up there. And you know, anytime we do that, anytime we live in self-denial, we deny ourselves the opportunity even to get people who can help us along the way. And also we deny ourselves the opportunity to work on ourselves. And as time moves, we realize we have wasted a lot of our time. And like I said, a lot of people will go to the grave with great potential that they never exploited.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. This is Chris Kahuria in his element. He's an amazing guy. He's also a financial consultant. Today we are actually here because he's helped me work through my books for my business. He's also good at motivating your people to sell more. You're also good when it comes to...
I also help people remodel their CVs.
Okay, sorry, what do you do? What?
I help people remodel their CVs.
Yes.
I help people develop business plans and generally to organize their businesses. I do talks in organizations just to help people think through. I'm very good in challenging people to think deep through themselves and in what they do, so that they can become better. Okay, and
one of these days you'll come to Mukiri Hair Hub to motivate us.
Yes, definitely. I'll have to come there.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, guys. Please subscribe and please comment down at the comment section. Bye. See you next time.
Thank you very much.